crunchy goodness. So good.
So I came outside to do the narration today because it was beautiful and I didn't feel like talking to a camera inside my house, so now I'm talking to a camera outside in the park. We're in Prospect Park and this is one of my favorite spots. It's by the lake. You gotta kind of go in, you gotta go. A lot of people, they come to Prospect Park, they walk a long distance to get here, walking through Brooklyn, and they get here and they're tired, so they stay on the outskirts. But to see the good stuff, you gotta really go inside the park, and that's where this lake is. But that is a side note, because today I am sharing with you one of my favorite snacks that I've been working on. I've been eating this thing every day and really trying to just perfect the art of this on-the-go snack, because that's what this is to me. I cook a lot. I cook pretty much all of my meals. I cook for my wife all the time. She goes to work, make her lunch, make her a lot of on-the-go snacks, and that's what this thing is perfect for. All right, so here's the deal. You've got three components for the snack. You've got the granola, you've got the coconut yogurt, and you've got the fruit bottom. I, of course, am going full homemade on every single component. You can make one thing homemade. You could go to the store and buy all three things and then just assemble them at home. I'm still gonna be all right with that. I appreciate the semi-homemade. At least you're doing something. So first we're gonna start off with the granola. And this granola recipe, I can't even explain. It's incredible. It's fail-safe. I've never screwed it up. It has three main ingredients and then just all of the base ingredients. So it's really, really simple. The best thing about making homemade granola is you can pick your base ingredients and you can put a ton of shit in there. All right, here is the wall pantry, and it's looking stock today because I just went to Costco, so it's not always this sexy, but we've got some oats, so that is obviously classic granola. That's just a good base to have, but that's not gonna be everything because we are gonna add some hemp seeds. I don't think I'm gonna do dates. Soybeans, no. Quinoa, I think I'm gonna try some quinoa. I haven't tried quinoa and granola, but I have seen that. Here's almonds. I actually have sliced almonds that I want to use. That'll make it a little easier. Definitely this. This is buckwheat. This stuff is incredible in granola, and I've only seen it with one brand, but it's so crunchy and just turns out so well. So that's a great reason to make it at home. Add your buckwheat, a little bit of flax seeds, and then some chia seeds I'll add. Coming over here, I think the last two ingredients, I've got some unsweetened coconut flakes. Those would be great. And then here are the slivered almonds. Anything else? I think we're good. So the bulk of this granola is gonna be oats and buckwheat. We're gonna start off with that. Hemp seeds, we've got chia seeds, flax seeds, dried unsweetened coconut flakes, slivered almonds. So just give that a toss, get that mixed up nicely, and that is the base of your granola. All right, so we are going to basically dress this granola and then bake it. That's how granola is made. You use some type of oil or fat, and then you sweeten it up and you cook it, and it gets nice and crispy. And what I love about this granola recipe is it's so simple, and it uses butter, which seems like a weird ingredient, but I'm telling you, when you cook this down, it will be the tastiest granola you've ever had. Just start off with a few scoops of butter and then just pour over your maple syrup. I would say about 1 part butter to 2 parts maple syrup. But honestly, I've done this with so many different ratios because I never measure, and it always turns out pretty good. You could have a really sweet and buttery one, or you can have a little less sweet and buttery. Chopper coming in. Let's see if we can get this. The last ingredient is salt. I'm using sea salt here, and this ingredient to me is key because that sweet and salty factor, you don't see that too often in granola, but I love it. Just give that a mix, and you're looking for a wet gravel consistency. That's when you know you've got a good pre-baked granola. last thing you need to be concerned about is your oven temperature. I like to cook this on a lower temperature, around 300 to 325, and go more with that low and slow process because you've got butter in there and it can burn very easily. So I cook it on a low temperature and I turn it every 15 minutes. And that's really all you need to know. All right, here you go. First 15 minutes done, and you can see there's not that much coloring yet. But the thing is, we're working with butter here, so you gotta be careful. Every 15 minutes, check it because the turning point is quick. Once it browns quickly, and then it can start to burn. So you gotta be on top of it. All right, you can see it's been about 40 minutes, maybe 35 minutes. And it's starting to brown. So this is the point where you have to be very careful with it. Give it a mix, and then just, I don't know, I would say 10 more minutes until it's nice and cooked through and crispy, and then you'll have perfect granola. But this thing can go to burning very quickly, so just be careful. So if you've been following my new Instagram, Life by Mike G, you've been seeing me experiment with new coconut yogurts. I found this one by GT in the store that blew my mind off. This stuff is so tangy. It feels so much more fermented. It feels healthier for you. When you taste it, you're like, this is what yogurt should taste like. It's just so tangy and delicious. And I looked at the ingredients and it's really simple. It's actually a kefir yogurt, so it's made by using kefir mixed with young coconuts. So instead of spending all this money on yogurt, when it comes to fermentation, I try this stuff out in the store, then I go homemade, experiment until I get it right, and I got it, and I'm gonna give it to you. Remember, you need to be aggressive. You can't wimp out if you want to open this coconut. Also, a heavy knife like this, something with some weight to it, that's going to help get through this. And then you just pop, get in there, boom, and you've got fresh juice. Barbarian right here. You think coconut water from the store is good? Try it fresh like that and you will freak out. Now you see all this beautiful white flesh in there? That is the meat. That's what we're looking for this yogurt. I find that an ice cream scoop works really well. Just get in there and scoop it all out. Now you're just gonna wanna go through the coconut and just remove any of that husk that stayed on. Just kind of scrape it off gently so you don't get rid of too much coconut. All right, this yogurt is so simple. There's 3 ingredients. We have our coconut flesh right here, young coconut flesh. Then we're gonna add some of the water. This is gonna thin it out, and it's gonna add a little bit of sweetness because there's not much sweetness to the actual meat. Most of it is in the water. Right there. Ratio is up to you, how thick you want your yogurt. Then we've got some kefir right here. This is GT's. You can make it on your own using something like this. Better if you make it homemade, of course, but if you can find it in the store, just pop in maybe a capful, I would say. Boom. We'll go 2 capfuls and blend it up. Just make sure you leave a little room because this is gonna rise as it ferments. And then just let that sit for, I would say 12 to 24 hours. You can taste it to see the tangy levels. I like to let it go a little longer. And then you've got coconut yogurt. If you can't find this yogurt in the store, if you can't find kefir, if you don't wanna make kefir, no worries, you can just use regular yogurt and you'll be good. It's really not about the coconut yogurt. I've just been kind of obsessed with it recently. All right, so the last element is the fruit bottom, which is one of the best elements of eating yogurt. When you dip into that fruit bottom, it's like a nice little surprise down there. So I'm gonna give you two options, well, three options, two options that you actually have to make beforehand. The first option is very simple, and you can probably use any fresh berry for this. All I did was take some raspberries, and then I grated in just a little bit of grapefruit. You could use any citrus. And then I just took a little sliver of the grapefruit and squeezed that in and just mashed that with my hands. So you're just adding a little bit of that citrus essence to the raspberry to spoof it up. The second option is a stewed apple, and I've been thinking about this for so long because the apples are coming into the farmer's market right now. I got a bunch of apples and I peeled them and chopped them up. To a pan, I added some butter. I added all of the chopped up and peeled apples, a little bit of cinnamon bark, some cardamom seeds, and then just a little bit of honey and a sprinkle of salt. And I just cooked that down for about 20-25 minutes till it was nice and soft. It started to caramelize, and you've got a delicious apple pie filling that's gonna be awesome paired with this. The last thing we have to do, of course, is assemble these bad boys, and I've been using the actual yogurt jars that the coconut yogurt comes in. I find that they are the perfect size for one to-go yogurt mix. And you could use anything you want though, mason jar or whatever Tupperware you have. First, I go in with the fruit, and I'm gonna show you all three options. And the third option is just doing sliced fruit. And that is what I normally do when I'm on the lazier side, and that works great as well. Then go on with a layer of the yogurt. And if you're using the coconut yogurt, you honestly don't need that much because it's nice and tangy and it's strong, and it's gonna go a far way in this little yogurt cup. Then hit it with that crispy maple butter granola. That is the perfect topping. I'm telling you, you're gonna love that, and just dig into that thing. I hope you enjoyed that recipe. It is a tasty one. Make sure you let me know what your favorite on-the-go snacks are, things that you might take to work, that you take to school, whatever it is, and make sure you follow me at Life by Mike G on my new Instagram. I'm posting all of my fun projects on there, and I'm up to a lot of good shit over there, so give me a follow.